is enjoying since I'm not here.
Okay.
Is Surbhi ma'am, I started the live. You can start
Yes.
the session.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we will start with chapter 12. Soma relates how Sita is going on, and she continues with the Sita telling Sita's story to Ansuya and her mother. So she says one day, this was then Ramji, Sita, and Lakshmanji. They were in Panchvati now, and as I had mentioned in the previous chapter about Chandrika, how Chandrika's husband was lured by Sarupnakha, and so she was a kind of a woman whose husband had left her, and so she went from a very bad situation, and how Sita Mata helped her to come back from that situation and helped her to stand her on her feet by teaching her all the meditation skills. Yeah. So that evening, Sita was cooking food for Lakshmanji and Ramji. She could smell some fragrance in the air. And so she asked Ramji and Lakshmanji, do you smell something? Some nice smell. So, Lakshmanji is jokingly says that, maybe some flower is emitting a nice smell for Mata to enjoy because Mata loves nature. Before she could even put her finger on the smell, she recognized the smell. And before she could have a chance to react or take any action or make anybody aware, Ramji or Lakshman aware of the whole situation, the woman was in her front yard, and she couldn't think that about how to progress with that. So she's like, oh my God, what I'm going to do about this. So then that woman is introducing herself to Ramji and Lakshmanji that I am a daughter of a one rishi, and from very far away, so nobody practically knows my father. And I heard that two rishis are visiting in this jungle, so I brought you some food. So we all guys can guess it was Sarupnakha in a form of a saint, Rishi Putri, which is Rishi's daughter, right? So Putri means daughter. So she had changed. She was a Ravan's sister, of course, right? So she was very, how do you say, could change her form. She could take care of stuff like that because she had illusionary powers, magic powers kind of stuff. So she had changed herself appearance-wise, and that's how she could lure Chandrika's husband and many more women in the society. So she brought her a food, and so Ramji said, Sita is also cooking the food in the kitchen, and let's if she is okay with her, if it's okay with her, we will have you over for dinner. So Sita Mata just quickly came outside. She took the pot and said, thank you. So Sarupnakha goes, I heard, again, she is still in a form of a Rishi Putri, which is like a saint's daughter. She's like still that. So her real form is still not out, right? So give me 1 second, please. Sorry. So she says, I thought I didn't know there was a maid with you guys too. I thought there were just two men around here. So Ramji says, let me take a liberty of introducing to my wife. So then Chandrika, and all of a sudden, Mata remembers the whole story of Chandrika and how she can load food. See, the food can also be used as an energy source. It's up to you. You want to give the food a good energy or bad energy. So as Mataji, as Sita Mata or Patri Sir uses the food for good energy, right? To heal people, to give them love, give them positive energy. But in her case, she was using food for a negative energy. So she wanted to make sure that nobody eats the food. So Mata quickly takes the pot from her hand and she takes it into kitchen. She, without a second thought, she empties the pot through her window. She throws the food out, rinses the pot, and puts her food inside the pot, and she serves everybody. After the meal was over, Mata was standing quietly, smiling. Oh, finally, I saved my husband. I saved my brother-in-law. And she treated Lakshmanji as her son. So she was very proud of herself that she actually saved both of them. And Sarupnakha, she saw Mata standing on the side and smiling. She says, huh, and she has figured by now that the boys are okay, both the men are okay, right? Nothing has happened after eating the food. So she says, oh, so now this is how you behave, you swapped my food. So she was very upset with Sita Mata. So Ramji, and that when Ramji asked, who are you, why are you talking to Sita like this? So, and that at that point, Mata told Ramji all about how Chandrika was lured by her, and how, who she was. And so that woman, all of a sudden, from a nicely homely saint's daughter, she turned into Sarupnaka. Her face was all red. She was very mad, and she's like, oh, and before she could do anything, she tried to grab Mata's neck, and all of a sudden, Lakshman was trying to save Sita Mata. He took the knife and he chopped her Sarupnaka's nose. And she ran away with a. She was very hurt at that point. She really got her nose tip chopped. So obviously she's going to be in pain, right? So before she left, she gave a curse to Lakshman that you will die a deadly death. So this curse that she gave to Lakshmanji came to the fullest when Ravan hit him with the bow, with the arrow, right? And at that point, we will know how Mata saved Lakshman's life. No one knows in today's Ramayana, we don't know how Mata saved Lakshman's life, but it was Mata who actually saved, according to Dina ma'am's visions, Mata saved Lakshman's life. But this curse would come in action when Ravan will hit. Um, I think Ravan didn't hit. I think Indrajit, Ravan's son, hit Lakshman with the bow. But we all know that Lakshman got hit in the war. If anybody remembers the actual person who hit, I would love to hear. It's not mentioned in this book, so I don't know in the top of my head. I think it was Ravan's son Indrajit who had hit Lakshman with the arrow. But we all know that he got hit in the war, right? So Mata told Ramji that she is Ravan's sister, and she came here with the negative thoughts, and she wanted to hurt everybody. Mata says that it's Surupnakha has been disfigured, and so she is not going to be quiet about this. She's definitely going to go tell her brother, and she was ready to take all her blame for the whole situation. And she was feeling guilty that Lakshman is going to be in trouble for no reason. And Lakshman, on the other hand, was ready to take the blame for himself, blame for his actions, because he loved Mata as a mother and he wanted to make sure Mata was okay. And Sita Mata also told Ramji that I don't know, when Chandrika was very upset about her whole situation with her husband, she somehow told Chandrika that the karma will come back. Whoever destroyed her family has disturbed the society so much will get the punishment. Maybe this was the way of her getting a punishment. And both of them were very how Ravan would react. So Sita Mata and Lakshmanji both were trying to take a blame, we will take the blame so the society doesn't get hurt. Shri Ram calms both of them down, and he says, don't you guys think that she did not come with a weapon. She did come with a weapon. Her weapon was her illusionary powers. So back then, illusionary powers were also considered as a weapon. So she was not innocent. She had her negative thoughts. She had negative powers. She had illusionary powers. So that's what she used against all of us. That's what she wanted to try to use. And thankfully, with the Sita Mata's presence of mind, everybody got saved. Lakshman intervened and he says, let's go, if Lakshman says, if I hadn't intervened, then, we would have, Mata would have gotten really hurt. So they, both of them finished their dinner, sat down, and Ramji helped Mata massage the neck because her nails, she was a demoness, right? So her nails had dug into Mata's neck. And then next day during the dinner time, he said, let's attack. Lakshman says, let's go attack Ravan. And Ramji again says there's no evidence, and that he was the one who was behind all this. We don't know if Sarupnakha came by herself or Ravan sent him. And at that point, Mata says, I feel it in the air. He's coming. It won't be long now. And Ramji says, how do you know? She says, I feel that the birds are confused. They don't know which level they're going. See, when the winter weather starts, you can see the birds migrating towards the warmer areas, right? So Mata could sense all this, that the birds don't know where to go because the negative energies were really taking higher powers. And Mata says, I can see the rivers are rushing in the unnatural speed. Lakshman says, we can still attack, right? Lakshmanji is like that. He's like all ready to attack somebody. Like, let's go attack. Mata says, no, Mata says, I have met Ravan when I was little. There was at that, even that time, he had capability of entering into people's mind. And she remembers a time when she was a little girl and Ravan had come to marry Sita Mata. And Janakji did not accept that proposal, and he let him go of him. And Mata says that even at that time, I was a little girl, but her father, Raja Janak Baba, as we all call him with love, had foresighted, and he wanted Sita Mata to be there in the presence while when she was, when Raman was talking to Raja Janak. She says that somehow I had a feeling that my dad never does, my father does never anything without a purpose. He probably had a purpose behind it. So that night, with that thought of her father, she went to bed and she saw Raja Janak Baba in her dreams. And Janak Baba says, you have the inner strength and knowledge to do what must be done. You will succeed, Sita. You awoke, and then with these words, she awoke and she got up, and she thanked her father for the guidance. And next morning, she went to Godavari Nadi, and while she was going there, she passed her window, and she saw the birds were dead. The birds were dead after eating the food that Sarupnakha had brought. She felt so sad while on, she felt so sad. She didn't think that she should have dug a hole and put the food in there. She felt so sorry for the birds that died. And she says, I wish I could take your pain. She was very apologetic. She was not the one to hurt the nature in any way. She was a mother to everybody, right? So when she went to Godavari River, she was very sad, and she said she was very disturbed with the whole situation. And the Godavari River was treated by Sita Mata as her daughter. Godavari Mata says, out of Godavari River, the Devi emerged. Devi is a goddess, so goddess emerged from the river, and she says she talks to Mata. She says, Mata, you must face him and face him alone. Awaken the love that is buried deep inside him, covered by hurt and pain, by all these past lives that he has had. But we cannot, this all cannot be done without your consent. You have to give the consent that you are ready with all mind and soul to enter the mind and body to enter the demon house. You have to be there to, as I had mentioned again and again, that Mata's role was to go from inside, uh, teach them meditation, bring their energy high, try to more like calm things down with talking, like, how peace treaties are like that. And things were not working. Ravan was in too much egoistic person. He always had a negative energy high up, and that's why Ramji had to attack Ravan, right? So Mata kept on reminding Godavari Devi reminded Mata that she has to go and be there to take care of the whole situation. And Mata, before even she could give it a thought, it was like, she knew that the time had come. She says, my consent is here. I give it. I give my consent, she whispered. And then Godavari River tells Mata that once you enter there, all your things will be tested. Your patience will be tested. Your courage will be tested. Your love for Ramji will be tested. A lot of things will be tested once you enter that demon's place. And at that point, Mata got really sad that she knew she will have to be away from Ramji at that point. And all of a sudden, she hears Ramji's voice from the back, and she wipes her tears. She doesn't want Ramji to know that she was being sad. And Ramji knew that this the whole situation was coming. He knew it was a soul planning for both of them. He takes the Godavari river's water in his hand, and he promised Mata that, where no wherever she ends up being there, wherever she ends up being, he will find the way to get to her. And he says, no matter what happens, I will always find my way back to you. There is no force in the universe that can keep me away, or that can overpower for you. For your love is the one that sustains not only me, but all the universe. He closed his eyes and he said some mantras and sprinkled the water back into Godavari. And Mata gave the consent that she agrees that their love will be a very strong bond for them, for both of them. The next day, my friends, before I go on with the further of the story, this is little bit very negative energy chapter, this one and the chapter 13. If you feel you're having hard time going to bed tonight, please drink a lot of water, do some grounding, even meditation. I know you guys do meditation after my session, but extra meditation might be needed, especially after chapter 13. Okay. So and next day it was raining, but it was not a weather for rain. You know how we say without a season the rain's coming, right? So negative, and there was a very big storm coming. Mata was very sad, but Ramji was trying to cheer her, but he was not successful. And all of a sudden he sees a golden deer. And when he sees the golden deer, he tries to cheer up Mata. Why don't I go get that golden deer for you? And Lakshman Ramji left first, and then Lakshman left, and Mata went inside the house. As soon as she went inside the house, she realized the black shadow, and black shadow was Ravan. And at that time, she remembered her daughter's words. The daughter, when I say daughter, is Godavari River. She heard her voice. Mata, you have to be ready. So she's reminding herself at this point that I am ready. I'm ready. Sometimes, when we know something negative is coming in our life, some situation is coming, no matter how ready we might say ourselves that we are ready, but sometimes when that situation actually comes, anybody can get shaken up. And that happened to Mata too at one point, but she took control of herself. So Mata took a bowl of fruit, and she thought she was ready enough. And but as soon as Ravan tried to hold her hand, she almost screamed with pain. And she felt like all the connection with Ramji has gotten broken, because Ravan is full of negativity. He's full of negative energy, and as soon as he held Mata's hand, she felt that all the connection with Ramji has broken. She tried to scream for his name, but she couldn't. And at that point, our character Soma says that she still feels the pain even after so many years, even after Mata is gone. She cannot let go of the pain, that she feels the pain of Mata in her body. And she says, I don't know how Mata did it, all this by herself. Ansuya says, Ansuya is the Meenakshi's next birth, right? Our main character of the book. So Ansuya says that that night I could not sleep. I could not, I was feeling the pain from Mata. You know how we read a book and sometimes, or we watch a show, we sometimes feel that pain. So, and Ansuya was very close to Mata because she served Mata in her previous birth. And that morning she didn't feel like getting up. She's like, I don't know whether I want to hear the story, but she wants to hear the story because she wants to know the truth. That's the reason, one of the reasons she got kicked out of her school, because she knew that Mata could not be kidnapped. She knew that Mata was strong enough that nobody can just take her away without her consent. So at this morning, Ansuya's mother says, Ansuya dear, prepare yourself. Whatever Soma is going to tell you today, I think that's the reason you were here. You really wanted to know what happened to Mata, what happened in Lanka. Ansuya says, I don't think my fear of marriage was real, mother. I just wanted to come see and know what happened to Sita in the real, in Soma's words. But I promise you, mother, that whatever the situation is, but after we are done listening to Mata's story, I will marry whoever you want me to marry. Whoever my father and you want me to marry, I will marry. Her mother takes her hand in her hand and smiles. Perhaps it was to help you to establish your connection with Sita. You love Sita Mata. You, even as a child, you love to go near her palace. She before Ansuya was born, Mata had left her body. But as soon as anytime they would pass the palace when she was a little girl, she would wanted to go and run inside, as if some past memory was coming to her. So Ansuya's mother says, I think you just wanted to reestablish your connection with Sita, and your fear of marriage was just an excuse to come meet Soma. So that ends my chapter 12. We will start chapter 13 since we still have time. Again, please do meditation, drink a lot of water, do some grounding, because this one chapter is really shakes you to core, I should say. So chapter 13 is Sita's sacrifice. This morning, Soma says her voice had a little bit sadness to it. Ansuya says that's how Ansuya felt in Soma's tone. Her tone was very different. She says Raman thought that he was tricking Mata. He didn't know he was the one being tricked. The sorrowful tone of Soma's voice of the day before had turned to one of defiance. He didn't know that Mata entering and him bringing Mata to Lanka was the biggest mistake that he had done in his life. Mata did not know how her day was going to unfold. All these negative energies were coming. And Mata, nobody knows about Mata's sacrifice. Imagine you as a woman being in a place where it's not comfortable for you. Somebody's like literally gazing you all the time. As women, I think the God has given us a third eye, third power, whatever you can say. Even if you're not in a meditation, even if you're in a bus, some man is not staring you with a good intention, you can tell right away. Imagine Mata had to spend so many months in that environment. As a woman, it just gives me chills, that Mata, how did Mata dealt with all that situation? It must be hard for her that somebody is trying to pressurize her to get married when she's already a married woman. It must be so hard on a mother. And she loved, she was not in a bad marriage. She loved Ramji. He was the soulmate that anybody can expect of a soulmate. She loved Ramji to death, and nothing could apart them. And at this point, she had to be dealing with all the situation. Ansuya says that Ansuya's mother says, huh, so that was a Mata's design to be in that place. What kind of design is that? What kind of soul planning is that? So Soma says, yes, that's the sacrifice that Mata did. And nobody knows about Mata's sacrifice, that what she did just to, so everybody can have a better life. And so Ansuya's mother says nobody wants to hear about this, about Mata's sacrifice. Or everybody wants to hear about how Ramji killed Ravan. Why, how accomplished Ayodhya became after Ramji came back. Everybody wants to know how things were. And Ansuya's mother says at this point, women are now becoming mere like a shadow to men. They don't have any identity of their own. That's why if you look at today's Ramayana, that you read of, it's all about what Ramji did. We never hear about, and thanks to Dina ma'am's vision, that we are seeing that what all these women have done in the society. So Mata did not want, even when she came back to Ayodhya after all this was over, she didn't want to say, hey, I did this, I did this. She didn't want to be, all be proud of things. And so all this was told to Hanumanji by Mata. And Hanumanji, who was Hanumanji, who was Shivji, Lord Shiva. He took a form of a monkey form to come help Ramji and Sita to complete his mission, complete their mission. So that's who Hanumanji was. Hanumanji was very close to Sita Mata. They had a very strong bond, and Mata treated Hanumanji like his son, a loving child. And Hanumanji, Mata told all this to Hanumanji after she came back, and she told him that if you feel somebody is worthy of this story, then only tell the story. I don't want anybody to know what the sacrifices I made. And so Soma says, I am telling both you, mother and a daughter, this story. And if you feel that this is appropriate, that somebody should be, right person to hear, please tell them the story. So, and now she continues, okay? So Ravan's plane landed to Lanka and it stopped. Ravan wanted to chain Mata, but Mata's instant reaction was, no, you cannot chain me. Anger rose into Mata. All these circumstances, were getting to it. Ravan wanted to, Ravan was like so unhappy that Mata doesn't want to chain. Mata says, you are the calm that stills my tears, that heals the pain I feel the world. You cannot touch me. And so of all this, remember, she feels the pain while the trip that they had come this far to Lanka, was feeling all the pain. We all know the incident of Jatayu that happened, right? That Jatayu had gotten hurt and ended up losing his life trying to save Mata. And Mata was still feeling that pain. And when Mata felt that pain, wind god, Vayu god, wind god, he says that, Mata, this is only one person that got, I am one person, the one Jatayu got killed, right? One big bird got killed. But you will have to lose lot many because you decided to go to the demon's place. So you have to let go of all this situation. There will be many more that will be gone before this whole thing is over. And they finally, when they were still in, they had already reached Lanka. Ravan was very upset with Mata, but Mata didn't wanted her to be chained. So they get off the plane, the chariot that not chariot but the plane. He had Pushpa Vivan that they call him, and soldiers were there. All the members of the household were there. Even Sarupnakha with her disfigured face was there, and she spat on Mata's face as if she's saying, "Huh, I got my revenge." They walked and they came to to the garden. Mata sat down near Ashoka tree as if it felt like Ashoka tree was calling Mata. Mata sat down near the tree as if she felt like she needed some grounding. She was hoping to get some grounding done while sitting near the Ashoka tree. All the demons, the demonesses that they were there, they surrounded Mata. And one of them, her name's Trijata, she brought some fruit basket and water to Mata. That was the big mistake that Mata made. Mata drank some water. You know how they say, if the water is tinted, your mind and brain will get tinted. That's what happened with Mata. All the connection with with Ramji got lost. Mata tried to sit in meditation. Her mind was very foggy. She kept on struggling to get alert Ramji to tell him that I am alive, I'm okay, just to pass on a message through meditation to Ramji, but she could not pay attention, or her focus was not there. She kept on chanting and repeating his name. There was no response. She was very worried. It never happened in the past that she tried to connect Ramji through meditation and it's not happening. The connection was not being established. She started to think worse. She said, did he die? No, 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 no. She's trying to soothe herself. No, no, no death can come to him. Death can't even separate us. Hours passed and she struggled. Night came and the desperation grew. She finally called for Parvati Ma. Parvati is Lord Shiva's wife. So Soma continues her story and she says, Ravan's mind, on the other hand, was completely clear. His lust and thirst for power had turned him into the minds like this. So here begins the battles of mind between the two of them, between Sita Mata and Ravan. They both are playing the mind game right now. Mata is deep in meditation, very deep. She finally sees some shapes forming, more like visions coming. It was an isolated landscape, completely barren. And she sees sun, moon, and stars. But between all of them, she sees lava flowing. And all of a sudden, she starts feeling suffocated. Finally, she comes to a plain, and that reeks of death. She suddenly stumbled upon a pile of corpses, half decomposed faces and limbs. She drew back and she's like, what did I see? What kind of vision is this? The corpses finally rose and began to speak to her. And they took a shape of the women. All these women that were tortured or used by Ravan, she saw all these shapes forming. And Ravan had used these women and killed them, or they had been left to commit suicide. So these women needed help, and they all needed help from Mata. Her Mata's horror turned to compassion as she touched them one by one, pressing their hands across their half-decayed faces. The figure of Ravan, laughing, huh, see, look what I've done to all these women. Soon everything turned into dust. Ravan too disappeared among the clouds of laughter. So this illusion, he's creating a lot of illusion in Mata's brain, in Mata's head. So then Mata feels very confused. She feels very weak and very disoriented. Suddenly she sees a beautiful forest, a happy, finally free, she thought. She sees Ramji near the lake, and there's an unknown woman sitting next to Ramji. And Ramji is playing with her hair. Again, this is all illusion, my friends. He was telling the woman, oh, Sita is dead. Finally, I'm free. Mata cried of pain. And then the scene changed. Ramji is sitting on a throne with the two beautiful women. With the beautiful woman and two kids. And then next thing he sees that Ramji is killing those kids. So all this illusion, all these kind of different illusions is created by Ravan in Mata's head. Then the scene disappeared and she finds herself alone and she goes, oh my God, this is illusion again. She is exhausted and she falls to the ground. Mata calls out to Mother Earth, and she's holding her, you know how when you are stressed, you're doing meditation. So she's holding and trying to clutch the ground, but the ground that she's feeling is not a grassy ground or a proper ground. It smells of death again. And she feels like she's touching those dead bodies. And again, she sees Ram, and then he sees Ram chopping the kids again, the kids. Then she says, no, those are our kids. Don't hurt our kids. And all of a sudden, and she goes, what is going on? What is kind of evil horror that's been created in my mind by Ravan? And the answer comes quickly. He's the same guy. He's same person who tried to kill his own son Prahlad. So now Mata is trying to figure out who Ravan is, what are Ravan's past birth. So Ravan had a few past birth, and one of them was Hiranyakeshipu. So Ravan was the second birth of Jay. I had whoever has missed the first few sessions should listen to the first session of this chapter. I had introduced you guys all to Ravan, who Ravan was. So Ravan was the second birth. The previous birth was Hiranyakeshipu, Prahlad's father. So he tried to kill his son, but Lord had come in a form of Niri Singh god and killed him before he could kill his son. So Lord Vishnu came in the form of Niri Singh, and he had killed him. So he had basically stopped a father from committing that crime of killing his own son. So all of a sudden, all this abuse of these women, everything was coming in front of Mata's eyes. Soma opens her eyes at that point and she says, Ansuya, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to frighten you, but this was all the pain that Mata had to endure. Ansuya asked her mother, is that was all illusion or that was all true? Someone had to stop Ravan, because the traits that Ravan was doing, abusing women, if that goes into the society, what would happen? All the men will be like, oh, our king can do this. Why can we do to the women, a woman in our houses? We can also degrade our women, right? The society always establish the norms to what leaders are doing. So this has to be stopped and nib it in the bud, and all this destruction of life. Because of his powers, he was dangerous to the society, and for that, Shakti herself had to come to earth. And the Mata, who was a form of Shakti, she took all that pain upon her, and that soul planning that happened. That's why Mata was here. I'll stop the chapter here. I know it was a very stressful and energy depleting chapter, but this was part that Mata had to endure for all of us. Thank you for listening to me. I open the floor if anybody has any questions.
Surbhi.
Yes. Are you okay?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Are you okay?
Yes. Actually, it was on mute. I'm talking. It was a nice session and very much interesting as usual.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Surbhi ma'am, for having us today, for having and teaching all these things today for us.
Thank you. I will see you guys. Anybody has any questions before I leave? Gayatri ji, Kalyani ji, Sarupa ji?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. I will see you guys next week. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you, masters.
Thank you so much, Surbhi ma'am, once again.
Thank you, Dikshita dear.
Yes.
Thank you,
Masters, we will have the meditation for next 30 minutes. Please sit comfortably, close your eyes, clasp your fingers, cross your feet. Please remove your spectacles. Just for 30 minutes, we'll have the meditation, group meditation, and then we'll wind up the session. Thank you, masters.